James Blunt with Beside You. Welcome back. It is the Country Viewpoint here on your colour of country life, Flow FM. Well, it's time to take a look at the National Rally Against Reckless Renewables, which is happening today at Parliament House. And joining me on the line to talk more about this is Lynette LeBlack. She farms in the Riverina area, one of our Flow FM network areas, of course, and she joins me on the line now to discuss what is going to be going down today in Canberra. It's great to be with you, Lynette. How are you?
Oh, g'day, Alice. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Looking forward to what's happening.
Of course. Well, I understand that so much energy and effort has gone into making your voices heard because they so often are not. And that is the sort of rhetoric that we get from a lot of regional areas that we broadcast into. So obviously making a very big point of the opposition that yourself and many other farmers and producers across various parts of the country have with renewables being at odds with these transmission lines for a number of reasons. Not only, the sort of annoying noise that they bring into things and how they look and the fact that, people shouldn't have to have them cutting through their farms, but also there's potential negative health effects as well, and there's an economic battle that may well be fought out here too. So over to you, Lynette. I mean, it's almost a case of where do we start, but so many reasons for you and the people that you're there with on the ground with in Canberra to get fired up over today.
Well, yes, look, it's wonderful to have the unifying factor. I think that's what's made all the difference, because we've often been lone voices and had very little mainstream media help none really, to actually get the truth out there. Because, this is bigger than just us, because this affects every single person in Australia, because the plan is really what I would call a transition to extinction. I mean, when they talk about renewable energy, I call it renewable, as in BULL. Because it's so disingenuous. It's never going to be reliable, affordable, clean, green energy. Very damaging.
It certainly sounds great on paper, but the delivery is the issue. I just want to go back to how much sort of you feel goes into silencing people like you and other people who share common interests such as you when it comes to this topic. So, we're making a big deal about the fact that it's not often covered in the mainstream media or covered at all for that matter. So you feel as though this is definitely deliberate, Lynette?
Oh, yes, I think so, because, behind this solar wind transition is just the people who are making an absolute mobster out of it. So to me, from what we can see, it's all about the money. They're making stacks of money, and the people of Australia are going to end up with a pathetic part-time intermittent power system, only like 30% capacity factor. So when there's no sun and there's no wind, there'll be no power because, the batteries are ridiculous. They're incapable. No planning. I don't know, something ridiculous like 100,000 big long-sized batteries. Who wants this junk? It's all going to end up to be just toxic waste everywhere, and we'll be left with the burden. The rural communities, that's where it's going to end up. I think a lot of these companies, multinational companies, they are just going to make their money with all the subsidies, and then they're going to leave their junk behind, and we'll be the ones who are going to have to clean it all up, if it's even possible.
Lynette LeBlack, the Riverina farmer, not mincing her words. We're going to get more commentary from her on this in a few short moments' time. But up next, it is a look at historical Australian anniversaries here on the Country Viewpoint on Flow FM. Guy Sebastian with I Chose Good. And welcome back. It's the Country Viewpoint on Flow FM. Joining me on the line once again is Lynette LeBlack. She's from the Riverina. She's a farmer there, and she's attending today's renewable rally in Canberra. And she's got plenty to say about why she is attending the rally today. She's very well researched, and it's good to be with her. Now, Lynette, just talk us through some sort of cut and dry examples of how this is going to personally affect affect you? If all this becomes more and more of a reality and we start to see local governments supporting clean energy left, right and centre, then what's it going to mean for people like you on your land?
Well, we've already got a massive big solar factory next door, and it's just been absolutely heartbreaking to see the ruination of the area, just the way they've destroyed all the ecological habitat, and now what was wonderful food growing land is entombed in solar for decades, and who knows what's going to happen after that. I'm terrified that it's going to mean the heavy metals end up leaching into the soil and the water, which of course is a huge problem for food production. And the problem seems to be that this is where they're specifically targeting lots of wonderful food growing areas, wherever the transmission lines are, as well as them wanting to stick in more transmission lines through productive agricultural land. But I mean, it's also reliability of power and affordability of power. It's becoming so bad that people on a lower medium income can't even afford to use power to keep warm and get cool anymore, which is ridiculous. Turning us into a third world country.
I think many people will agree with the sentiments that you've expressed there. I just want to ask you about how big exactly this movement might be from an optics point of view. We know that there's just short of 1,200 or so members on Facebook who have subscribed to this page, but surely, Lynette, that's just a very small snapshot of people who are getting behind this and want to be heard just as much as you do.
Oh, yes, I'm sure there's a lot more people than that. I'm actually not even on Facebook, but yeah, we've been connected for a few years now, quite a few of us, helping each other, supporting each other. And I think a lot of us just wouldn't have survived if we didn't have other people encouraging us along the way. So, it means such a lot to have people who understand the situation, and actually people who really care about Australia, because we've got all these amazing people in the cities, in Sydney and other areas too, that are just doing such a wonderful job highlighting, all the electrical engineering facts and all the scientific facts. None of this, they never talk about scientific rigour or engineering facts, integrity, all the slave labour stuff that's involved with all this junk. So it's been wonderful to have the support of lots of really honest experts as well.
Lynette, in your opinion, is this probably the biggest movement that we've seen when it comes to having all these common interests for those who are key to the production of food in Australia, etc.? People in your shoes, do you think it's as big as we've seen as far as, taking it all the way to Canberra goes?
Yeah, well, it's the biggest thing that I've ever seen, and I guess it's galvanised a lot of people. Of course, it is a long distance, so there's some people it's difficult for them to get there. But I think, we're determined to keep on going in also talking about how much we need Australian power, independent, sovereign power for national security reasons, as well as, independent energy, economic prosperity and food security. Because, if we had, say, Australian nuclear power, that would be 1/75 of the environment, like the land take, compared with solar. So, it's just a no-brainer. This is just ridiculous that all these large-scale solar, wind and battery developments would be ending up in our food bowl.
Lynette LeBlack, the farmer from the Riverina area in southern New South Wales. You've spoken so well that I think even your livestock behind you is right behind you there. Really, really wishing you the very best with everything, and good on you for going out and standing up for issues that mean a lot to mainstream Australians.
Thanks so much, Ellis. Really appreciate it.
It's the Country Viewpoint on Flow FM. More to come, so do not flick over. Back soon.